Hello you all and welcome back to another video. So as you guys can see, I'm bringing you a client makeup tutorial. This video won't be too long, so I just want to go ahead and get started. So let's jump straight into it. So doing her brows, I've already done them off camera. I would have been in the way anyway, y'all, so y'all wouldn't have seen it. I'm sorry. So I did use the NYX micro brow pencil to do her brows, and then I also used a little bit of the Morphe brow gel to darken them up a little bit and make them a little bit more prominent. That's how she wanted it. So we will be doing a soft glam look. Her eyes are going to be very neutral, natural look. That's how she like it because she does have lash extensions, so we don't do the most on her eyes, which is completely fine with me. So I'm going in with some concealer. This is the ORayBeauty concealer, and I'm going in with my Morphe palette, and I'm just going to be buffing this light brown, soft brown eyeshadow in her crease, or using it as a transition rather. And I'm just going to be doing this ever so lightly. So I'm adding a little bit of that same concealer on her lids, and I'm going to be using a soft cream colored eyeshadow for her lid, and I'm just going to be blending this out. And because she has lash extensions on, I always make sure I tap the brush off first before I go in with the eyeshadow on the lid. And then I did go in to wipe her face from any fallout that could have been her eyes. We don't do eyeliner on her eyes because she is, very aware of her eyelashes. She wears bottoms as well too. So I'm just using some of this Pond's moisturizer for her face. Her face was a little bit dry today. A little bit of this Pond's moisturizer goes a long way. Okay, definitely when you're doing makeup. So I'm also going to be going in with my e.l.f. Putty Poreless Primer. And when the face is moisturized, a little bit of this primer, y'all, go a long way. So you do not have to overdo it. That's why I'm taking this fluffy Real Technique brush and I'm just blending it out, making sure that there are no streaks, no residue left of that primer or that moisturizer on her face. This is the Max Studio Fix Foundation in the shade NC45 and NC47. I definitely use majority NC47 for her face because when you have a lighter clients, it can be a little tricky. Like they'll come off lighter, but then once you put the foundation on, they look like a ghost. So make sure you always go darker rather than lighter, and that's what I always do because I know I'm going to use concealer. So I did start to blend it out with the brush, but I realized her skin is dry. So I was like, let's go with a damp beauty sponge. This is my Bounce Back Beauty Sponge from my brand ORayBeauty, and I'm just blending out her foundation. Make sure that there are no streaks. Make sure your sponge is not too wet because it will pick up product, okay? So I'm just blending this out all over her face. And as you guys can see, I will not be adding too much foundation like towards her hairline because you have to be very careful when it comes to the forehead, as the forehead for some odd reason, I don't know if it's just because it's oily or because the texture is different, I don't know. But when you begin to do too much foundation on the forehead, the product will move, like it will pick up, it won't blend out that well. Let me know if you guys have that problem because I know that I do, and that's with like either foundation, it doesn't matter. I noticed that on my client's forehead, the foundation picks up sometimes. So I would say on the forehead, a little bit of foundation go a long way. And now I'm using that ORayBeauty concealer in the shade number 4 and number 5. I did decide to go a little lighter with her concealer because typically when I go in with the concealer that is too light or too dark rather, I always have to go back in and I'm like, I should just went in with a lighter concealer to begin with because I know for a fact that I like to highlight underneath my client's eyes. So me going in with like a natural concealer, it will never happen for real unless that's what the client requests. So I'm blending out her concealer from the bottom up. And as you can see, I also didn't put too much concealer right underneath her eyes because I make a mistake all the time and put too much concealer underneath my client's eyes, and that causes creasing. And sometimes I can get a little heavy-handed with the concealer, especially. So I have to be careful. So I'm just blending out that concealer ever so lightly. I like to take it all the way up underneath my client's eyes. Okay, so now I'm going in with my Kiss Professionals Cream Contour Palette, and I'm contouring her cheekbones, her jawline, and the perimeter of her head. I did make sure I contour her forehead, and I did it really, really well because sometimes that forehead can look a little gray. That's why I don't like to put no foundation like too far back in the hairline because it just be looking crazy, y'all, and I've learned my lesson. So I'm just contouring her face, contouring her nose, and I will be blending everything out. I know you can see lines, but everything will be blended. As you guys can see, her face is looking good. So before I set underneath her eyes, I'm just going to be going back and blending that again. Now I'm going to be setting her eyes using my setting powder in the shade Banana, and I'm just going to be lightly setting it. I will be also doing a double set, so I'm going to lightly set it a second time. I like the double setting method because sometimes, or the eyes can be a little hollow, like lighter skin tones. You can see the veins in their face. So I just wanted to make sure we were set, okay? And it looked real good. Look at her under eyes. It looks so good. Y'all, make sure y'all caught my powder, okay? I will be setting her T-zone and everywhere I place that concealer just to make sure she is set, because one thing you don't want your clients to leave your chair is oily, greasy, looking like an oily mess. So everywhere you see oil seep through or come through in your client, whether it be the eyebrows, the eyes, just make sure y'all set it. Like, don't be afraid to set their makeup. Go back in, lightly set it. I always do that. I do not want my clients getting up and their face is oily, okay? Boom. So now I'm just setting the rest of her face using my MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NC45. And as you guys can see, I'm not touching her eyes because I really want that to set. I really want it to just be in place. And yeah, so we want to be snatched. So next, I am going to be using this fluffy brush to put on her contour. And for her contour, I'm going in with my Black Radiance contour palette. This is the medium palette. And I am just contouring her face, contouring the perimeter of her head, jawbone, cheeks. Using a powder brush, it makes the contour or bronzer just fluff out. The blend is just so much better. I don't know. The blend is just so much better because it's not a tapered brush. So it's not giving me more lines. It's giving me more of a blend, like a diffused look. And I love that. I'm going to start doing that from now on. Everywhere you put your cream products, make sure you set it with a powder because you don't want your clients to go out looking like they're not blended. Okay, so I'm using that powder, my setting powder, to contour her nose, just kind of bring everything together. And I also did use a blush, you guys, but I use that same brush I used for her contour for her blush. So it looked like I was doing the same thing, but yeah, I did that. And I used my Juvia's Place blush palette to put on her blush. So now I'm taking my lip liner from my brand ORayBeauty in the shade Mocha. This is the medium brown, and I'm just aligning her lips. You guys, when I line my clients' lips, sometimes I be nervous. Like, even as a makeup artist, and I'm doing this for years, sometimes I still get nervous. Like, I be shaking, girl, and I be like, oh, I hope my client don't feel me shaking, girl, because I just want to make sure that I do my best, even if it's my recurring client, new client. Like, it doesn't matter. I want to make sure I do my best. So for her lip combo, I use that Kiss Professionals cream contour palette. I use a concealer in there, and I went in my Anastasia Beverly Hills, use a soft pink lip color, and I used a yellow that was in that Anastasia lipstick palette. And I just blended all that together on her lips. So I'm topping off her lips using my lip gloss from my brand ORayBeauty in the shade Sleepover. And I do have my clients blocked because, girl, I've been needing them to help with the blend. So I'm taking that MAC Studio Fix powder NC45, and I'm just blending out this powder from underneath her eyes, and look how it swept away. So good. It's not harsh. It's not starky or any of that. It is blended out really, really, really well. I love this powder because it gives a nice highlighted look. I will be going in with my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray and then my One Size Beauty On Till Dawn setting spray. I use these on my clients way more. I bought it for myself, but clearly it's for my clients at this point because I only use it on myself like 2 or 3 times, and that's it, literally. And it's also in my closet with my clients' makeup. And she did sneaks from that One Size Beauty spray. That spray is serious. I told y'all. So anyway, you guys, we are done with this soft girl glam look. And yeah, she really did like her makeup. I also loved it as well. This is the finished look. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you guys want to see more client tutorials so I can come on here and do them for you guys. And I did add some highlight, which was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sun Dip Palette. And boom. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. I love you all. Bye.